of good thrillers.
I look at thrillers as like, there's like a couple being, what's that, Lakeview Terrace with Patrick Wilson and then Sam Jackson's harassing him? That's the way I look at a thriller.
I think so.
Yeah, Lakeview Terrace. Of all the thrillers to pull, I pull that one.
Yeah, it's a little obscure there. I thought you'd be like Rear Window or North by Northwest. And you're like, all right, let's see where this goes.
Hey, what's that classic movie, that thriller? Swim Fan.
I saw that in the theater.
I didn't watch it for years. I got some bits on that. I won't, because we're doing a podcast coming up. I was tempted to do it for my 200th episode, and my wife Megan talked me out of it, so we're not going to do that. But I kind of, in this movie, if you're a fan of this film, you should definitely get the Blu-ray because the commentary is really good. I loved hearing about the styrofoam snowball from Val. I loved, how he talked about the oversized sets, and then I love how, remember when he told the story about when Warwick went out ice skating with his 10 friends and they formed a human chain of 10 people, and one of the guys got slammed into a wall.
Yeah, that was really good. And then they got banned from skating anymore. Producer's like, no.
And I loved just the talk of the Rottweilers wearing the first suits, all the matte paintings. And also another thing that I really like this movie for is there's a lot of extras in it. I like the battles. I feel like the battles had some weight to them. And when the army marches by, I felt like it was an army.
Yeah. I didn't realize this, but this was a very special effects driven movie for the time period.
First
and
people to use,
daily, it still is. Like that scene where she's morphing from animal to animal at the end, it's like, what? That's still probably really difficult to pull off.
That was the first time. So there's a guy from ILM. There's an interview. I wish I would have written his name down. In Industrial Light and Magic. They said it was one of the first time morphing had been done. So I pulled this thing where he said the way things had been built up till that time, if a character had to change at some way from a dog into a person or something like that, it could be done with a series of mechanical props. You had to cut away to a person watching it, then cut back to another prop, which is pushing the ears out. For example, so it didn't look fake. We shot 5 different pieces of film of a goat, an ostrich, a tiger, a tortoise, and a woman, and had one actually change into the shape of the other without one having to cut away. So technique is much more realistic because the cuts are done for dramatic reasons rather than to stop it from looking bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So in 77, you and I are in, the werewolf from Quebec, and you're turning into a werewolf. It's like, a shot of you, then a shot of me, then a shot of you. And this morphine just allowed it to be a really cool thing.
Yeah, and I like that they built up to it. They showed him, they did cut away a little smaller, a little bit bigger, then all of a sudden it's like, here's everything we got. Boom, you're a lion, you're a tiger, I'm ostrich?
Yeah, ostrich. Yep, ostrich. And a tortoise. Now, all right, before I forget, because I forget things very easily because we pinball all over the place. She tells Willow to get one of the goblins, right? When they're at the battle in the castle. She tells him to use the wand on the goblin. He hits the goblin, not in the butt yet. He pokes the goblin in the butt later. But so he turns a goblin into a 2-headed dragon. How?
I think he didn't know what he was doing. I think he was trying and just it's a super powerful wand and he screwed up. He was just like, dragon, oh no.
Of all the things, and you know what though? I love how the armies battled that dragon because they kept their distance from it and just peppered it with arrows.
Yeah, it was like stuck in the water. I thought it was like a water dragon. When I was little. I don't know if that makes sense now that I'm an adult. But when I was little, I was like, I guess it just stays in the water now. It doesn't come out of it.
Because remember it was a blob shape? Did it have legs? Because I just watched it, but I don't remember having legs.
I don't think it had legs. I think he just kicked it into the water off the bridge and then it grew and started eating people.
So it was just some funky, weird, messed up dragon that he made.
Yeah.
That Mad Morgan stabs through the head.
Oh, it's so awesome. He's so awesome in all those scenes.
Yeah,
that you finally see me this is great.
And Sorcerer's like, yo, this guy.
This guy, he's mine. She turned so quick, and there was no one else even second guessed her. They're like, yeah, she's with us now. You think Eric would have been like, are you sure? My men just died to her men.
And also, there's a scene where Willow goes to this bar and he finds Val Kilmer dressed as a woman because he's sleeping with another woman and they don't want the husband to find out. But when that husband finds out that Val Kilmer isn't a woman, he wrecks some people.
Say hello to Lug.
Yeah, Lug, he punches one of the guards so hard I felt it. And that happens so in cinema, in Bloodsport, not in Bloodsport, in Kickboxer, when he's drunk dancing and he beats up those bar patrons, I felt it. In the movie Steel Dawn, there's Patrick Swayze gets punched once, I felt it. And then in this movie, when Lug hits one of those guards, I was like, oh my gosh, Lug is a Lug.
Yeah, that was a really funny scene.
What did you think about the wagon chase?
That scene was really, really good. I enjoyed it. That's really the first action bit of the entire movie, right? Like they're just sort of running away at the beginning, but that's like the first action set piece. The one thing that I was like, what's going on here, is when they had a throwing star, just one single throwing star. You're like, you don't have more? You just carry one around with you?
I have ninja stars capitalized in my notes.
Yeah,
and also they have muskrats in this world.
Where are they on like Pangea? Because there's animals from everywhere.
They know the names of everything, right? So is it like Earth and then everyone forgot about magic?
I guess. I just always think that I was laughing at. They're like, oh, we got a tiger and a turtle and a lion and a muskrat, and they called one of them a possum, but I was like, that's not an American possum. What is this thing?
I always hate that movie. Or he called the brownies rodents. You know those movies I don't like when you're like, let's say you're looking at something and it's obviously a possum, right? Everyone knows it's a possum, and then they go, "Oh, get that muskrat away from me." I'm like, "But you know it's a possum." Are you trying to prove a point? Are you insulting this thing?
First, it's an opossum.
Oh yeah, a possum, an opossum. But what else I love is I don't know if I've told you this, but I love catapults in movies. So Kingdom of Heaven. I love in Timeline, they say the word trebuchet 50 times. I love a good catapult bit, and Willow has one of the top 5 catapult bits of all time.
I love that he hits the wall so hard.
Yes. He's like, if it was a cartoon, he would have been completely flattened into it.
He loves his sword.
But I like that this movie doesn't sugarcoat the dangers of catapults.
Yeah. I was laughing at that.
I mean, he hits hard.
What used to scare me when I was little were the trolls.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were crawling underneath the bridge, and, I mean, yeah, they were gnarly little guys.
I'd watch it with my hands over my eyes because they scared me so much. Oh, no, trolls. I hate trolls.
And everyone keeps saying they hate trolls in this movie. Yeah.
But they seem more like a nuisance than, like truly evil.
Yeah, this troll, Mad Mardigan yells at a troll, and the troll gets frightened. So basically, these trolls are living in a place. It's theirs, right? And then people come in and attack it, and they're trying to defend their home, and they basically just get wiped out. It's like you and I, it's like you're in your apartment, and a battle takes place in your apartment, and you get wiped out.
Yep. And pretty easily, too, because they didn't get a chance.
And why does that troll poop out in the open? I figure they seem smart enough to, like, go somewhere else, not right in the middle of their domicile.
Maybe they're not. Maybe they're, like, slightly smarter than dogs.
Maybe the trolls got into some mead.
So the other question is with trolls, why did that one stick its butt towards Willow? Because that makes no sense in the film. He's like fighting him, and then the troll just jumps backwards, like, "Here's my butt."
and then he stabs it. He's like, "Woo!"
That was probably the director. Like, we can't really have Willow kill someone, but he can stab him in the butt. That's funny.
They want to have some comedy bits. Oh, and at the end, right? So we have the massive fist fight. We have more holes in this movie. I mean, people are always digging pits in these films. So Willow's like, hey, the muskrats dig holes, and then they attack, they get in the castle. But during the final fight, Bathmorda, does the lightning hit her on purpose, or is that by chance?
I think she accidentally set off her own spell.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I think happened.
Oh, she knocked the blood over and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and okay. That was pretty gangster, though, when he throws that acorn and she catches it and she reverses it.
I know. When I first saw it, I was like, yeah, Willow, they're finally here. Here's the thing about the acorn. Why stone? If it's an acorn, you would think it'd be wood.
It's a great point. Too obvious?
I don't know. Like, it's just weird. You're like, oh, I'm going to turn you to stone. You would use a rock to turn someone into stone. You wouldn't use an acorn. You use an acorn to throw someone or turn someone into a tree. And if it was a willow tree, it would be more thematic.
But here's the deal, though. When he dropped the acorn onto that wood during the movie, you wouldn't have seen anything. So I guess the stone.
That's very true. Just, oh no, it's a different type of wood.
Oh no, it's oak now. I'm not really happy with my floor. I'm just gonna drop an acorn on it. I need some new flooring.
I love the wizard he's just like constantly bad too. He's like, don't follow the bird, follow the river.
I love that scene. That guy's like, he's going back to the village, and then I don't do it. So was he magical?
Yeah, he had some powers. It just sort of felt like everyone in the universe was not great at anything. You know what I mean? Like they all like they always like kind of screwed up a little bit.
And like if you think about it, they kidnap all these people, and then they just leave the baby alone, and they just let her run out of a side door and escape. You're right. Everybody in this world is bad at a few things.
Yeah. So when they capture Willow, they just leave him with his wand. Like, why would you do that?
And Finn Rizal gets turned into a muskrat and put on an island. It seemed like it was done easily, right? By Bath Morda. So then why would Finn Rizal be a match for Bath Morda?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And then they were fighting, and she's like, "Oh, your power of a grown." She's like, "Well, I have oh my God, what's her name? Sherlindriel's."
Oh, wand. That's what it is.
Well, why didn't just the wizard, the fairy fight Bath Morda? Like, if she was so powerful, she's just stuck in the forest? That's never explained.
Why didn't the hawk fly? Oh, because they needed someone with magic to turn her back into an animal. So then they needed Warwick to go, right?
Yeah, they needed Warwick to get Finn Rizal. So Finn Rizal could use the wand because she was a better sorceress. But why didn't the fairy just do it instead? It was her wand.
Did the people in the castle not notice them digging holes all night? I love this movie, by the way. So
I do. I love this movie too. I thought the same thing.
I'm not poking holes. Like, so for me, like, you know all my data. I think for me, I kind of I pick up the weirdest little things in movies, and so obviously they didn't hear it. Maybe they thought they're all pigs, so they just kind of turned away. But that's some pretty. So that left like 4 of them to dig all those holes.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the brownies have some super tech that they use because they could dig that hole at the beginning. So they taught them how to do it at the end. But my serious answer is I think they used the collapsed tents to dig under the tents.
Oh.
And then they
you're right.
Sent like half of their army away to make it look like they left.
That's a great man. You nailed that. All right, perfect. All right, cool. You made my cheeky comment irrelevant, and I appreciate that.
But it's a good point. Like, how do they also like they're like the wizards are there, right? They're like, it's like, go kill the wizards. You don't send people out to kill the wizards. You just fire arrows at them. Like, like that's the first thing I thought. I was like, waste some arrows. You can go get them later.
Yeah, are they gonna block these arrows?
They can't do it in forever, right?
I feel like Bath Morda though, she has a lot of hubris.
Yeah.
You know, I think these guys, her army seems to be just wrecking shop. Because everyone else is, I remember when Kale is escaping the dragon lair with the baby? Oh, dude, when Willow comes out crying about how he couldn't save the baby, come on, man. That's an epic.
Yeah. Warwick Davis did really well in this movie.
That scene, man, I was watching it again and it got me.
It got me too.
It got me good. What a great scene.
There's like blood on him. He's falling over.
But then Kale runs out, right? He runs through an entire regiment of cavalry, just smashing people with a baby in his hand. So everybody else's army is not good.
No, maybe he's just the army.
Yeah. So, so I think maybe they just got used to being bullies, and then they were just like, whatever, just go get them. Who cares, right?
I've had my vitamins today. I'm Kale.
Because he ran through. I wrote in all caps. Where did I put it? I was like, yeah, he just ran through everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't even a challenge.
He like, yeah. I don't know. Oh, okay. So we have a quest team to put together in our favorite monsters, but I want to end on something very important, unless you have something more.
No. Let's
So
what is
that scene where they're on top of a mountain and they sled down together. So it's Warwick,